maybe within a couple days of you and I first doing the listing, I had a booking for $1,500 um, from a guy. So
And
yeah,
you didn't even have keys. You didn't even have keys.
I didn't even have keys or anything. I only been to the apartment one time.
There's anything that's worth doing that's taking you outside of your comfort level, outside of the zone that or your current reality, it ain't gonna always be easy, right? There's gonna be something outside that's trying to keep you right back where you right where you are, right? And some of it might be, mental, some of it might be spiritual, but it's trying to keep you right where you are, especially if you have a big why. And if that why is also in that why, you're glorifying God in it.
I want to remove myself from the 9 to 5. That's the first thing. The second thing is I have some parents that they're getting up there in age and they're going to start retiring. Now I'm trying to supplement that income, and without it becoming a burden or a hardship on me, to be able to help them out. And then it's just some other things I want to do in the community, with building a facility and things like that for my basketball program. And I know that you pretty much get tired of hearing those doors slam in your face, saying no when you're going to the bank. So you know it has to be a different avenue to get the things that you want without working so hard 9 to 5 every single day. So
and what I learned very, very long ago in the beginning of my real estate career 30 years ago was also, you don't want to be renting to tenants when you're desperate.
Right.
Because you will pay the price. You're going to be picking people just because they have money, but you know that it's not really in your best interest. There's something inside of you, your gut is telling you no, but your pocket is telling you no, yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Right? And then later on, you end up paying for it, because what you got to do to fix the problems that person caused is going to cost you even more. Not just in money, but also in peace of mind. Right? Mm-hmm. And that isn't this what this is all about? It's supposed to be about providing you peace of mind and quality of life, right? Yeah. So that's for you guys that are listening to this. Like, I hope you hear what she's saying, because it isn't, she said she had to turn down a bunch of locals. Like, I could tell you, and I told you too, Tawan, like if I was picking up locals, I would be 100% full right now.
And probably out of business.
And probably possibly out of business. Or if not out of business, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, because I'd be running around doing stupid stuff or dealing with stupid stuff. Yeah. Right? And so there's a reason why we don't do locals, guys. And there's a reason why. Right? There's a number of reasons why. It's not just, one thing, but in many cases, a lot of times you guys are going to be dealing with what? Lockboxes, right? You're dealing with lockboxes and you're dealing with locals. You're going to have to change your lockboxes all the time.
Right.
Because you got people coming that live right around the corner. Right? You don't have to do that. Like, you rotate your changing of your lockbox codes, but you don't have to do it as often. Right? Then there's other little things that you got to deal with. Like she mentioned, parties. Right? You got parties, you got family. Like, how many times, like, and I don't know if you guys are into real estate, if any of you guys are into real estate, one of the things that I learned also is don't rent to your family.
Right.
Like, don't rent to your family. Now, believe me, I've helped a lot of my family members. I've helped many of my family members. But don't rent to your family. Like, that's just one thing that you learn. And so in this case, if you got someone staying in the house and they're local, we all got one of those family members, right? We all got one of those family members that got all kinds of issues, right? And so the chances are that one of that person's family members with all kinds of issues are going to end up in your place, disturbing your whole your whole, thing, everything you set up properly, there's a high risk of that happening. That's just one. Again, there's many, many, many reasons, right, why we just don't do it, and recommend against it. Now, do I turn around every local? 99% of them, but every now and then there's one that I help. But what they have to go through in order to get that help is a lot. It's a lot. And if I know that they make it through that process, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this. Talk to me now about. Let's talk to us about, like, why did you? I mean, from an Airbnb perspective, why did you decide Airbnb? Because I know you do wholesaling, right? You've done wholesaling. That was one of the things you were doing. You were doing some real estate. You were getting, you're a former WNBA player, right? You're a coach. You're a mentor. You're a businesswoman. You've started multiple businesses out there. You're running some things out in Buffalo already. You have a heart and a passion, not just for your family, but for others, for the youth in Buffalo, and throughout the country, but in your community. And but talk to us about why, one, you decided Airbnb was the thing for you, and two, ultimately why you're at what it is you're looking to accomplish. What is the passion and the vision?
Well, I kind of always been intrigued by Airbnb. I stayed in a couple myself when I traveled, but I was sitting in a hair salon and I was just watching some videos on wholesaling, just different podcasts, and something about Airbnb popped up with this passive income. And then it started talking about you can do Airbnb with a lease and not have to own a home. Like, what? You don't have to own the home? You can lease it? So I just started to, watch a little bit more podcasts, and I listened to a couple things, and then Jim popped up. And I heard your story. I think you had your daughter on that seminar that I was listening to. And I said, I just got to get in touch with this guy and just find out more information about it. Because I was just at a point where, I'm teaching and coaching and all that stuff, but I want to remove myself from the 9 to 5. That's the first thing. The second thing is I have some parents that they're getting up there in age and they're going to start retiring. Now I'm trying to find ways to help supplement that income, without it becoming a burden or a hardship on me, to be able to do to help them out. And then it's just some other things I want to do in the community with building a facility and things like that for my basketball program. And I know that you pretty much get tired of hearing those doors slamming your face, saying no when you're going to the banks or you're sitting down with all of these different multi-millionaires. I just know it has to be a different avenue to get the things that you want without working so hard 9 to 5 every single day. So I love it. I actually love it. It's the hustle, the bustle, the moving pieces around, but I absolutely just love doing this. And it is a lot of work. I'm not going to lie and tell you that it's not, for those that are listening to you, but you got to be dedicated, committed, and focused to seeing it through. Don't just start it, finish it, come back and forth. If you're going to do it, 100% commit to it, and then you should see the results. You should.
Wonderful. So, with all that, let's take us through your journey a little bit. How was when we talk about your journey and you made a decision to get started? Like, was you had mentioned there were it was also during the time, it was like right around the time when COVID happened, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we were talking about it. We started talking maybe I don't know if it was just before or just after, mm-hmm. right? And you said you had, did you have people in your ear, or what was it? What was your thought process?
Yeah, I think I reached out to you probably about 2 weeks before everything shut down. So in that time, I was all motivated to start, and then all of a sudden we're done. So I kind of fell back from it. I would say maybe for about a month before I reached back out to you and said, hey, I still want to do this, and let's just give it a try. But yeah, I had all kinds of people telling me there's nobody traveling, don't do it, wait a year. But I'm not that type of person. If it's something that I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and give it an honest effort. So I had to put all the naysaying to the side. And now those same people, how can I get a house? How can I get involved with you? But you're just telling me not to do this. I understood that people weren't traveling, but I don't think people like really understand the niche that we have. People think of it as vacation travel. And that is where you're going to get hung up, because I was seeing the stories of Airbnb people selling their house, they can't pay their mortgage, or losing their businesses. But on the flip side, my house is full, but we don't rent to vacationers. You know, these people have a purpose. And I think that as it starts to open up, people are going to be traveling for business year round. You know, it'll probably be a couple months where it's not going to be as high, but I was just thinking, I think my rooms around here are $20, $21 a night. If this was a regular time, plus I had all the reviews, I would be doing double. I'd do $10,000 in 3 weeks. You know, so that's just, you know, what you gotta look at. So just keeping the faith. Just if it doesn't happen right away, because it didn't. I probably emailed 30 landlords before I got a response. And then I got 3 that came rushing in. Fully furnished property for $1,000 a month, just wasn't the best area. Unfurnished property, which I actually took for $1,070 a month. There's another property somewhere else, and I ended up taking that unfurnished property, even though it was going to cost me more to set up. The location was just beautiful. But before I even got that property, the landlord had turned me down. She had went with another person.
That's right.
And then a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks later, she came back around and asked me if I was still interested. And at that point, I had to say, pride aside, this is business. Do what's best for the business. Initially, I'm like, well, no, I don't want your property. You didn't want to pick me first. But I would have been making the biggest mistake of my life, because look what I've done so fast. And I've only had the property open since May 18th was the first day you were allowed to book. And then the people that booked couldn't even come into town. So I was still getting paid. They aren't even there for another week or so. They weren't even there. And I was still getting paid. So it gave me more time to set it up and, you know, get my cleaning services and everything I needed to do. And they were still at home and I was getting paid. So that was amazing too. So.
That's sweet. That's real sweet. So it's interesting. You said when she came back to you. Now originally she said yeah, she wanted you. Like, it wasn't like it's not like she turned you down from the start. She said, you know, and this is something I warned you about too. I said, no matter what, because we were real excited, you know. First, you know, she responded, she you know, she likes the idea, she likes everything, and then, you know, with the template and everything, and then, you know, you were going through the whole process, and I said, listen, Tawan, this is what I want you to do now. Like, no matter what happens at this point, I want you to make sure you stay motivated, right? You, number one, stay focused, but stay motivated, because this is a time when many people lose that focus, because they're right there just before signing the lease, and something happens where the deal goes south. Whether it be something you said or something you didn't say, something happens. And many people at that stage, they get so discouraged. And if you out there and you listen and you know who I'm talking about, right? You know who I'm talking about, and it ain't just one of you, right? You know who I'm talking about, where they just throw their hands up and say, I'm done. And they stop.
Yeah, I had that moment. I didn't throw my hands up. I was just
discouraged.
I was more devastated, because I just couldn't understand. Like, you liked what I was doing. We met in person. You wanted to do it, and then you tell me I forgot the reason. Now you pick someone else. I'm just like, what happened? I was ready to sign, you know, send over the lease, but then I say, you know what? Moving on, found another property. You just can't stop. I didn't let it get me down for more than maybe an hour. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm on the move. I got to get this done regardless. If it's not this property, it's going to have to be another. Kind of like what I'm doing right now, trying to get the second one. Just had a woman tell me yes, and now she came back and said, oh, we can't do it. So I'm like, thought we'd been ready to sign a lease. So it's just a process and you keep going through.
So, and you know, it's interesting. You said, why would people just stop, right? And so that's what you asked before, and then you went through it, and then you didn't, and you didn't stop. You kept moving, and then guess what? You found another one. You had the other one anyway in your hand. You went with that, and you were literally about to sign the lease on that. Like you and I, we were chatting, we were talking, and I was asking the questions, and you were like, "Yep, is this?" And we're all done. I'm about to sign the lease, and then you sent me another text that said, "Guess what? I just got a message that from the lady, the original lady, who says she wants to do it."
Yeah.
Right, and I wasn't able to answer because my daughter had just had a baby, and we're doing something with them or whatever, and then the next morning I answered, and I was like, "So this is what you should do," and you were like, "Jim, I already did it." Like, it's a done deal. I'm like, "What? All right, let's get on the phone, let's talk." So I guess you already said it, and those of you out there again that's listening that are in that boat where you've been through when you've had, and it doesn't matter whether it's Airbnb or something else. Like, if there's anything that's worth doing, that's taking you outside of your comfort level, outside of the zone that or your current reality, it ain't gonna always be easy, right? There's gonna be something outside that's trying to keep you right back where you right where you are, right? That's just how society works, right? And some of it might be, mental, some of it might be spiritual, but it's trying to keep you right where you are, especially if you have a big why. And if that why is also in that why, you're glorifying God in it, right? So there's something that's gonna be trying to keep you down. And when you get those little knocks, those little nudges down, it could be discouraging, right? And I would say to you, just like she did, like, okay, you could think about it for an hour. Think about it for an hour. But don't allow yourself to stay in that cycle of wondering what you did and why you did it, or maybe this isn't for you or whatever. I'm saying you just get back up and keep on moving. Because then there's the next one out there waiting for you, right? If that vision was really given to you, right? If that's the vision that you have that was given to you by God, then go. You gotta go. We gotta go. We can't let anything stop us. He says go, right? He says go. He says be of good courage, right? And so be courageous. Go. All right. So that was a great lesson. Now so then you signed the lease with this lady, and now you and how did that process go? I mean, I already know, but as far as signing the lease, was it a smooth process, and was it different than what you were used to and or the lady were used to using the stuff that I showed you?
Well, the landlord said she didn't really have an official template that she went through, so I sent her over hours, and she sent a couple things back and forth that she wanted to be added from her lease, but it was a pretty smooth transaction. I added a couple things to make her a little bit more secure on what we were doing, and then we just signed it, electronically, and we arranged a time for me to get the keys on the 8th is when I decided 8th of the month. Well, I wanted the 15th, and she kind of worked with me and gave me the 8th, and it was just smooth. It was a very smooth transaction.
So now it's interesting because even though you said you signed it electronically, so what that means is you didn't have to send anything through the mail.
No.
You didn't have to, it wasn't email, it wasn't through the mail, you didn't have to go meet her at the place to sign something, right? This was even before COVID, right? Meaning this is our process. It was all done electronically, right?
Yeah.
Hands-free. Simple for you and simple for her, right?
Right, yeah.
But wait a minute, what about the payment? When you paid her first month's rent and security, did you have to send her any money, or did you have to meet her somewhere? How'd that go?
No, I didn't have to meet her. I asked her if she had Google Pay or any of the templates that you told me that you like to use, Cash App. And she said she didn't have anything like that, but she would download Google Pay and give it a try. So she did. I sent her a deposit, and she didn't even ask me for her first month's rent until the day of getting the key. So that was even better because that gave me about a month to buy other things and do what I needed to do without, giving up $2,000 right up front.
So
and then I paid her.
Buy other things, but what else were you doing in that month before you got keys?
Oh, I was already setting up the listings. So we were going ahead setting up the listings and perfecting that and doing some trial and error and playing with some titles and things like that to really get it going before I even had the keys. So I think maybe within a couple days of you and I first doing the listing, I had a booking for $1,500 from a guy. So
you didn't even have keys. You didn't even have keys.
I didn't even have keys or anything. I only been to the apartment one time.
So think about this, like the beauty of that, how much from an encouragement perspective for yourself, like, and I know, because like the first couple of days after we got the listing optimized and we spent the time and got it optimized and then you weren't getting all the inquiries that you were expecting, but then there was some other things that we also did, right? That we did as far as, getting that booking and kind of priming the algorithm and also posting it in the Facebook group so that others would like and share your listing. But you were like, man, it's not like I'm not getting any like your first few days. I'm not sure what's going on, Jim. I didn't get any bookings. Like this is your first few days, and then you got one. Like the third or fourth day, you got that booking. Like from an encouragement perspective for you, getting that first booking, how much did it help you from a mindset perspective?
It was exciting because all the hard work that we have been putting in, you see it coming to life. So you actually see the system starting to work. It was more encouraging because you said, "Whoo, I can pay that first month's rent, and I'll come out of my pocket," which is kind of like what you get stressed out about. At $1,000, you're like, man, I need some bookings to start because I have to pay this rent. So that kind of put me at ease, knowing that will be paid. Plus, if I needed to, half of the next month's rent will be paid. So that really put me at ease. And then it was just how do we keep making these listings better? The one room is booked. How do we get the other two booked? So you and I kept coming back to you like, hey, checking the numbers. What can we do? And just being open to hearing what you have to say and receiving it. One, because you've already done it and been successful. If you go into it just thinking you know everything, it's not going to work. So all the changes that you were suggesting, I never took it personal. I wanted more. Help me get these rooms filled. That was the mindset that I had. So then they started coming in slowly, and then they just started hitting. I think 2 days ago I was in the hair salon, and 2 bookings were coming at the same time. I'm hoping they didn't, cross paths because I hadn't accepted them. So I'll get 3 or 4 inquiries a day sometimes at this point. But right now it's slowing down because there's no rooms available. So now I'm like, I gotta be moving because now I'm missing out on other money.
So that's right. So that $1,500, that was only on one room. You still had 2 available, right? 2 available in the same place, and your rent was only $1,075. So that's great. Now, the other thing that I say, and I know that this from a listener's perspective, it's really encouraging, and I'm gonna ask. Now that you're under a month. You're still under a month before you got your keys for the first time. Before you got your keys to your first place, and you're already out looking for another place, right? Remember, I told you. I said like pretty soon you're gonna be looking at. You're not gonna have anything to do. Right, and so that's not a time to go twiddle your thumbs. It's time to go out and get another place, because if you're going to be booked and you see that it works, go get another one. Right. And so how much encouragement was that for you when you finally really ended up full, and for you to consider going and getting another one?
Oh, very much. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, wait, I could double if I had 2 or 3 units right now. And when people go to your page, I see they must be going to the page and looking at the other listings that I have. So to have an additional 6, 8, 9, 12 other options for them would just be amazing. Because I do believe if I had a second unit, it would be full, or be, getting to that point of full the same way this did. This filled up. It filled up quickly, and that's with denying inquiries, saying no, not declining them, but just not approving them at the same time. So it was more than enough opportunities to fill the place. I think I have maybe 4 days open in one of the units. one of the rooms, but that's it. You know, everything is really solid until July 20th or the end of July.
So now it takes me back to, again, the whole reason that you're in this, right? And so so in the next week or two, you now lock up your next property.